Yeah. It came in straight down. I was like, slow down for them. Where? What? How long will it take you to get to Florida?
Recording in progress.
All right, good morning, everyone. Let's call court to order.
Today is Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. It's 9 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on Thursday, April 10, 2025 at 3:35 p.m. and a supplemental agenda was posted on Friday, April 11, 2025 at 3:15 p.m.
Thank you. All right, this time let's stand brief for a moment of silence, and then we'll have a pledge to the flag led by Veteran Service Officer Steve Hernandez.
Please join me in the pledge. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge. Honor
the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Thanks, Steve.
Yes, sir.
All right, this time, if there's anyone, any members of the audience want to speak to the court on business matters, please do so at this time. And please state your name, your address, and make your comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Prentice Reeves. My address is 210 South Main Street, Suite 901 in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm with Pape Dawson Engineers. We're a statewide, now we've got 8 offices statewide, and we've opened up into 3 or 4 other states, but Waco has become a very good location, and we're thinking about entering to your community and your city and opening up an office down here. And we're full service. We do survey all the way up through water, wastewater treatments, land development, roadways, bridges, railroads. And thank y'all for letting us.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, if not, we were going to, we have a proclamation that we approved sometime back that we'll present in a minute. And so there's no other proclamations. Under the consent agenda, recommended pulls are E3B, and E3C, E6B1, E6B2, E6D1, and E6E. Are there any additional pulls recommended? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of those previously mentioned pulls?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. As you can see, we're a couple of short on court members, but we brought the most capable ones into court today,
Judge.
so it'll be quick. And you won't be able to slide one by them, I'll promise you that. All right, so before we get into the full items, I'd like to go to item M4. This is an update or presentation from United Way of Waco-McLennan County. So we have several folks here representing United Way, and so if y'all would come up, and most everyone knows everyone, but just reintroduce yourself, and you can make your presentation, and then
Thank you. Thank you.
on completion, we will also do a photo op with this
Great.
better looking group that we have here for the proclamation.
Maybe. Well, good morning, Judge and Commissioners. My name is Wendy Ellis, and I'm the CEO for United Way of Waco-McLennan County. And this is Haley O'Connell. She's our Director of Impact and Engagement. And the gentleman that just handed out those packets is Alan Holt. He's our Director of Resource Development. And so I appreciate the opportunity to come visit with you this morning. We try to take an opportunity each year to just give you an update on where we are and what we're doing through United Way, but specifically through our McLennan County Child Wellbeing Community Initiative. So For those in the audience and here today that aren't familiar with United Way, our mission is pretty straightforward. It's to help our neighbors thrive with special emphasis on children and families. And we do that in a variety of ways, but one of the ones that we're most well known for is that we do support more than 40 local service agencies spread across 4 areas of focus here in McLennan County. So financial stability, health, safety net services, and education. Those are the 4 areas that we focus our efforts in. When we talk about who we support, I just wanted to give you the full list here on the board today. I'm not going to read through all of them, but these are broken down by kind of the different categories and the work that these agencies do across McLennan County. These are our partners in the financial stability work that we do. And then these are the partners that we work with for health and helping residents in McLennan County improve their quality of life and living. And then these are the safety net services, whether it be our food banks, our domestic violence shelters. Anytime a family or an individual finds themselves in a moment of crisis, we have agencies that we work with to help move them through that. So it's just a moment in time and not something that snowballs and has long-lasting negative impacts for them. And then our education partners. There's a number of organizations that are working to provide wraparound services to support our public education system, but also to work with children before they ever enter the public education system so that they are ready for success and able to be great partners in the classroom. So I think there's, if you counted all of those that we just flipped through, I think there's 48 local organizations on that list now. So when we talk about United Way, like I said, most people know us as a funder for the grants that we give out. We fund those grants annually through workplace campaigns. Of course, McLennan County is one of our workplace partners, and we certainly appreciate that and have been excited by that renewed partnership the last couple of years. But where we focus on with those dollars is meeting the local needs. And when you look at the demographics of McLennan County, 17% of our families are living below the poverty line, and another 26% of our county residents live above the poverty line, but they have jobs. They're making the best decisions with the resources that they have available to them, but they're still struggling to meet those basic needs. So they're surviving but not thriving. And the organizations that we support and the work that United Way does is really focused on that 26% of the population that doesn't necessarily have resources available from other places, and we really work to help move them into a new trajectory for their lives. So when we talk about that 26% of our population, United Way Worldwide launched a program several years ago, and it's referred to as the ALICE population. It stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. So again, like I said, hardworking people making the best decisions they can with the resources available and still not quite getting where they need to be. So I wanted to share this chart with you today because this is some of the information that's provided through the ALICE database through United Way, but it highlights some of the most common industries in McLennan County where you may find people who are living in that ALICE category. So a lot of it is healthcare and social service workers, food services, accommodations, retail. Educational services is the one that always really shocks me when you see it on there because you don't think about it that way, but especially for people who are working in early learning and childcare facilities, the base salaries and benefits packages in those positions are not long-term sustainable for supporting a family, and that's one of the areas that the Child Wellbeing Initiative is really focused on. And so I want to say thank you to the court, though, because I know recently you guys have made some changes to your policy for providing incentives to companies that are coming to town with a base, requiring kind of an average base salary that meets the cost of living and truly is a livable wage in McLennan County, and I think that makes all of the difference. We've seen a lot of success with economic development growth over the last few years, and we're starting to see that work its way into the local population as well. But those considerations and that intentional thought process and the work that you're doing really will make a difference long term. It'll take a while for all of us to see it, but it certainly is moving everything in the right direction, and we appreciate y'all's consideration on that. And so another thought and another statistic locally when we talk about local needs is that food insecurity is impacting almost 1/4 of children under the age of 18 in McLennan County. So when we talk about food insecurity for our kids ages 0 to 18, that means, parents may not know how they're paying the grocery bill that week or where the next meal is coming from, or they are relying on local resources to kind of help bridge that gap. And as we look towards summer coming on, that becomes an even more crucial need with kids home all summer. And so we have a number of local resources that we help promote and mobilize to support those families during the summertime. One of the things that we always want to make sure that everyone knows about United Way when we talk about it, because I think a lot of people know the name United Way. It is a globally recognized brand, but I don't think people always realize that it means local giving, local impact. 98% of the donations that are collected here in McLennan County stay here in McLennan County, and they go to work, boots on the ground for the families and the residents here in McLennan County. We do predominantly raise those dollars every year through our local workplace campaigns. So it's the $5, $10, $20 donations that we're able to pool together for the collective impact. We've been serving the McLennan County area for over 100 years, and in that time period, we've put over $100 million back to work into the community through our grants and other giving that we've done to support in times of crisis. And then what I really am proud of about United Way and what I think is so unique and special about us is we hear stories every year. We'll go out and we'll kick off our workplace campaigns, and invariably there's someone that's either a giver at a workplace campaign or a volunteer or a donor to our organization, and they have a very personal story about a moment in time in their life when they received services from one of these very, very crucial nonprofits in our community. And then when they reach the point in their life when they're in a situation that they can give back, they take the opportunity to do that through United Way because they know the work we do to vet the organizations and make sure that best practices and best operations are being used, and that the work that they're doing truly has an impact, not just an effort in our community. So some of the results that we're seeing as a result of the efforts of what we're putting forward, through our last grant cycle, we had more than 16,000 individuals experiencing family crisis and domestic violence that were able to get assistance through the programs we supported. Over 5,000 adults, pregnant women, and children needing health care were also able to have those needs met. We had close to 500 children who participated in free educational opportunities through the programs we supported, and another 250 individuals who gained new job skills, earned their GED, or improved their financial literacy through the programs supported through United Way. So our programmatic work, that beyond what we do as a funder, the work that we do in the community is focused on the child well-being movement that I spoke about earlier. And this is what I really wanted to highlight since the last year that we were here. We have mobilized nearly 60 local organizations. Now, these are not just our nonprofit organizations. These are our government agencies, members of our faith community, business partners, and our nonprofit communities that are working together on the action plan to help accomplish the goals that were set forth when we launched that plan in '22. And we actually have representatives from McLennan Community College and Transformation Waco here with us today who are active partners supporting that initiative as well. And kind of what kicked this off was the proclamation that Judge Felton mentioned earlier, which is annually the court recognizes the Week of the Young Child and the importance of early learning and getting those kids off to a great start in life so that they have a great foundation to launch the work that they're going to do. We are currently, what we found with the work of this action plan is that there were a lot of people asking about access to resources for different things, whether it was mental health services or health services or support systems, and they asked for access to those resources, and we kind of had a light bulb moment because a lot of what they were asking for was actually available in our community. The challenge has been that the people who need the resource don't know about it. And how do you get that information to them? And so what this movement has been focused on with these work groups is a collective communications and education campaign. So these 4 work groups that are meeting monthly focused on health, education, workforce, financial stability, and early learning have put together kind of an editorial calendar of things that they know are crucial at certain times of the year and are things that people are looking for resources. And everybody's collaboratively working to push that information out from the same source, so we're all telling the same story and in the same way and moving all that information out to the residents of McLennan County. And we're seeing some great returns on that and some really collaborative efforts, and we feel like we're making some headway and getting the information to the right people. And then what appears to be the next step with the work groups and kind of how it's coming together is being able to use the work groups that are already meeting to meet other needs. Instead of creating another workforce or another work group and another meeting, people are coming to us and saying, hey, could we use these work groups to help accomplish what we're needing to? And the first example of that is the health district. The health district is working on a community health improvement plan. And in order to do that, they needed a focus group. And there were some very specific people and organizations that they needed involved in that process. So they came to us and they said, hey, most of these are already on your health work group. Could we invite a few more people in and use this health work group to help us put this plan together so we don't have to waste time kind of ramping up another group? And we said, absolutely, let's do that. So the last meeting of the health group was with a collaborative effort with the health district for them to be able to get that health improvement plan put together. And then we're also exploring some potential partnerships like that with the City of Waco Housing Department and some of the financial literacy and stability work that they're doing, and looking for other opportunities for organizations to come in and go ahead and put this network together instead of duplicating efforts somewhere else. Working smarter, not harder, hopefully.
Yep.
And so these are just a couple of examples I wanted to share with you of the campaign that we're talking about, the communications campaign. And what we're really focused on is not focused on United Way, but focused on how United Way is able to build a collaborative and spotlight our funded partners, spotlight the agencies that are working with us in the child well-being, put out these new resources. Like this Warm Line is something that was new to me. I had not ever heard of it before, but it's actually a hotline for parents. If they have a parenting issue or they're facing kind of a crisis and they just need somebody to talk to and maybe work through and find resources, this is a new resource that's available for them out there. And so we're helping kind of push those resources out, make sure everybody knows where they can go when they need help. And then this is our monthly newsletter. I hope all of you are receiving that. But again, we're using that to highlight the resources and the upcoming events within our community that can be beneficial to family members. And so we encourage everyone who receives that newsletter to pass it on, whether it be to your employees who may not be receiving it, or friends or neighbors or somebody that you may know that's in there needing resources, to go ahead and share that out, because we think it's got some really relevant, crucial information in it each month. And this is another new program that we've launched since we were here with you last time. It's called the Hotspot. And it is basically a moderated messaging platform that we host, and it allows for our social service agencies, our government agencies, our schools, our faith organizations who participate to share if they have a client or someone that has a need to be met and the traditional routes that they normally would send them are not working, and they're afraid somebody's going to fall through the cracks because the system's not designed to help them, then they can put one email out, and it gets to over 232 members representing 92 different agencies across McLennan County to get access to whatever resources they may need for that client. We're also able to use this to help network the organizations if they have trainings or announcements or other questions or needs. They can put it out here, one email, it goes to all of those people. And we're seeing some great success with this as far as needs being met and people getting networked and connected and learning about, as those of us that are in the nonprofit world you know, it's a small world, but then it's not. And it seems to be that there's a lot of resources out there that even we don't know about. And we know if we don't know about them, the people who need them don't know about them either. So this is really helping us to get everybody networked and connected on what's available. So that's a very quick, fast-paced kind of summary of what we're doing and how we're doing it. But I'd entertain any questions you might have and just say thank you for the opportunity to share.
And, yes, sir.
Well, I noticed your hotspot slide highlighted a question I was going to ask you, but that you're obviously doing is, I had a question about duplicity of services. Have y'all been able to identify organizations that duplicate their services, that our citizens might be better served if all those services were located at one spot under one organization? And I know that oftentimes they compete for the same dollars, doing the same thing, and that makes it difficult.
It does sometimes, and I would say there are some duplicity of services out there, and what we're kind of looking at next steps for us. Right now, when we do our grants, it's one organization applies for its grant, another organization applies for its grant. We're looking into the process of doing cooperative applications to kind of get those organizations partnered up and say, hey, look, you guys are kind of all submitting grant applications for the same things. This might be stronger if we could find a way for you guys to work together. And so that's kind of the next phase of development in our granting is, can we find a way to do that cooperatively? But I will say the other thing that we have found about some of those services is that while it may be the same service that people are offering, no one is offering it large scale enough to meet all of the needs in the county. And so it's like each organization that may be offering a similar service is serving a different portion of the population, whether they're serving like these zip codes and this other organization is serving different zip codes, or maybe they're serving, you know, people in a certain bracket or a certain whatever the case may be. There's still a need for services, even if they're being offered by multiple organizations, because none of them are offering them at the scale that's needed. And so as those continue to grow and build, though, we do need to find some efficiencies in being able to provide those on a larger scale.
And if I could just add one other thing that we didn't mention that we've launched since we last came to you guys is something called the Heart of Texas Huddle. So it's an in-person gathering of all of those agencies that we listed that are kind of United Way vetted agencies. And we meet twice a year and bring them all together to network and talk about duplication of services, talk about how we could improve our resource referral pathways. And to Wendy's point earlier, you know, a lot of community members don't know about resources that are out there, and we're finding that a lot of social service agencies don't know about each other, or maybe they have heard of each other but are not collaborating. So that event is also designed to help introduce nonprofits and social service agencies to each other, and we've had some really great connections come from those meetings, and people are showing up. We've done 3 in the last year and a half. So another way that we're trying to get people to talk to each other and make those connections that they might otherwise not have made.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I believe United Way brings a lot of value to that exact question, and getting people to say, you know, be very thorough about what they do and what they're requesting. The committees that I've served on that allocate those grant monies really looks at that to be sure, because they want that money to go as far as they can.
And that's something else that we didn't mention, but one of the things that we're working on, I think it's really relevant to keep in front of everybody right now, is that we do have a number of local agencies that have faced, are dealing with frozen funds from federal grants and things like that they normally rely on to provide services. And they're, you know, it's going to be a challenge for a lot of our local organizations to find a way to offset some of those losses. And so we're working with them to see if there's a way that we can kind of partner and put people together and stuff to help with some of that as well.
Yeah, I've heard of that recently. You know, my philosophy is that government can't fix all social ills, and shouldn't. I don't think they should. I think that the other needs that are out there need to come before the communities and say, we need help. And this needs to be an organized effort, and United Way is a pathway to do that. What I liked about the United Way side of it, when I was a young, can you believe this? I was a young working person decades ago, and I wanted to, I never could figure out where's the best place to make donations and those kind of things. And as you see, there's 40-something different agencies in there, and so you can actually pick the ones you want to help or not. And so, and you could do it to the level you can afford through your contribution. So that was inviting me. The other thing, it gave me a good excuse on those requests that I didn't want to be interested in. I said, well, I'm already committed to doing, my investment in public good by supporting United Way. So I'm already doing that. So it's not like I'm turning you down. I'm already doing it.
Already doing it.
I'm doing it through this pathway. The other thing is all these agencies go through an audit, unbelievable audit. And so the committee that looks at that are primarily financial backgrounds and accounting backgrounds. And they are very, very thorough. And so these nonprofits have to really toe the line on being trustworthy and make good decisions too. So, and the method that I like, that I'm working with Alan on right now, is to get companies to allow you to access their employees, that many of them need help and use these services, or they have family members. And I promise you, everybody in here has got a family member somewhere or a close friend that utilizes these agencies, some of these agencies in times of crisis. Those people that are right on that edge, they're one crisis away from being totally broke, so that's a good path to do it. But as mentioned earlier, the court approved a proclamation here a couple of weeks ago. This is a proclamation of the Commissioners Court recognizing the week of the young child, and Wendy mentioned it a while ago, and so I'd like to take this opportunity to, unless there's anything else
No,
that
sir.
y'all have.
We just appreciate the opportunity to
If
be
y'all
here.
will step around and we'll get a picture, and any guests that you've got with you
Yes, sir.
here too, and we'll present this to you. And this has already been approved.
Yes,
so
sir, it
it's-
has.
yeah.
Slide to the middle, folks. Tracy will do it. We could get somebody else to take that, Tracy, if you want in here.
We may not be as good as Tracy's, but just be in the middle here and, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
y'all.
what you
Pleasure,
do.
pleasure,
Thank you.
pleasure. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate what you do.
Thank you. And y'all are welcome to stay if you want to see the sausage made, or you can. Okay, let's go to. Let's go to item M6, Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce Monthly Economic Development Report. Chris Collins.
Did you want to accept that report for recording?
It's already been approved. The report. Yes. Okay, on the report that Wendy United Way presented, I would make a motion, we accept that report for recording purposes.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Pass. Thank you. All right, Chris.
Good morning.
Morning.
In your packet, you have our monthly economic development reports through February 28th of 2025. It's been a busy start to the year for us. We were a little bit worried when things for January, the end of 2024 was a little bit slower than we had anticipated, but that was not unusual given the fact that it was a election year, and we do tend to see a little bit of a slowdown. January started off a little bit slower than we had anticipated, but February really got rolling. We had 15 different attraction inquiries for the month of February, submitted 13 project proposals out the door. I've had a number of on-site attraction visits and business development efforts. As you'll recall, the court and the Waco City Council approved expanded economic development funding to allow us to do some things that we haven't done in the past. And so February was the start of what that looked like. Seth Morris on our team attended the Select USA through the U.S. Department of Commerce. They had their first entry into Mexico for that event, and it was very fruitful. Spent a couple of days visiting with Mexico-based businesses interested in establishing operations in the United States. Had some good leads that came out of that, and we're going to leverage the relationships that we have with our existing Mexico-based businesses to help us grow in that effort in that part of the country. Certainly, there are lots of things that are happening at the federal level right now that are making things a little complicated for us. But we're also looking at the resources that we have available, including the foreign trade zone, and how we can utilize that tool to help our existing businesses and also in industry that's looking at establishing a U.S. presence to leverage that to their benefit. So there'll be more to come on that shortly. But I wanted to also just point out a couple of great things that happened for February. Arca Continental, Coca-Cola Southwest Beverage opened their brand-new facility on Texas Central Parkway. That was a great collaboration between the company, their developer, the Waco Industrial Foundation, and the Waco-McLennan County Economic Development Corporation to bring that project to fruition. Our Coca-Cola bottling has been a part of this community for 125 years, and the fact that we've continued to be partners through all of their different facilities has been great. Arca Continental is an international business, and Mayor Holmes was able to provide some great comments to it. But that's a multi-million-dollar expansion of operations in the community. They're growing from about 60,000 square feet to 120,000 square feet. So they've doubled their operations and their capacity in the community. And they're retaining 150-plus jobs. There will likely be additional jobs that come along with that. But they add $15 million annually in local payroll to the community through the direct and indirect jobs that they create through their operations. And so being able to retain them in the marketplace, because anytime a company is looking at a new facility, especially if they're in the logistics world, they are doing an evaluation of their current market and then where that place is compared to their business model and their customer base. And so where our area continues to grow, they know that Waco is a supportive place for them, and so it was a great project to be able to bring to fruition. So thank y'all for your support with that. We did have a lot of planning that went into the month of February for our first mission to Germany, and so thank y'all again for the expanded economic development support for that. I will give you a much deeper dive into what that trip looked like at our next presentation to the commissioners, but a couple of things just to highlight for you. We started that visit. It was a six-member delegation, myself along with Mayor Holmes, Deidre Emerson from the city of Waco, Beth Wooten from Provost for TSTC, Sam Brown with the First National Bank of Central Texas, and Stephanie Peters with Cargill. So we had a very diverse group of folks representing government and the private sector and higher education We started that visit off with an in-country briefing with the U.S. Commercial Service. One of the, I think the biggest highlight that came out of that visit with them was the complexity and the length of time it takes for businesses to become operational in Germany. They had an instance where a pharmaceutical company was trying to establish a new facility, and the win for them was that it was 11 months to get their permits approved so they could put a shovel in the ground. That's a win for them. That would be detrimental to us locally. And when we visited with other businesses, they talked about the years that it took to go through a process to get permits. And so one of the things that we really highlight and bring to the table is our ability to move quickly, and I think companies appreciate that in comparison to what they experience in their own home country. We did visit with 2 existing businesses while we were there. We visited with Zinc Power and with Uzenutz, and then we visited with 2 prospective businesses and already have site visits scheduled for them to come to Waco, which is great. We traveled 7,000 kilometers, which is the equivalent of 430 miles in the equivalent of 3 days, and visited 5 different cities. But it was a great visit, and so I look forward to having a much more comprehensive conversation with you about what that looks like. But it's very fruitful. We have an expansion project from one of our existing companies that we'll start working on, and then these 2 additional prospective businesses both look like really good opportunities for the community in a number of different ways, not just on the manufacturing side, but potentially on the research and development side as well, which is something that we really want to grow into. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that y'all might have about what's happening in our world, but I look forward to also providing you with more information in our next presentation to you.
It reminds me of the late 1800s. I wasn't around then, but the Germans started settling in Texas. I think they're doing it again.
I think so too.
Yeah. And so we have multiple German-based companies now, and they're in for the long haul. They think in terms way longer than we do in many cases, and they're good companies. They've got a lot of values, and they've embraced technology and manufacturing. So when a manufacturing company comes to town, it's a technology company as well.
Absolutely.
So, which is perfect for our workforce training, how we're set up with TSTC, MCC, and Baylor. And what's going on in the high schools. I don't want to leave them out as well. But any questions anyone would have?
One comment, one question.
Yes, sir.
Comment as far as economic development, had opportunity to visit with the people from Bright Farms out in Lorena. They're up and operational, and my understanding is they're producing or sending out 6,000 pounds of lettuce a day right now, and they want to triple the size of that eventually. And that's leaf lettuce, that's not a head of lettuce, 6,000 pounds a day.
Yes, sir.
And they're very optimistic about the future with that production, and really good for Lorena and McLennan County. And then secondly, sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Just a little.
Okay.
I used my translator app a lot.
Did you use it?
The only word I know is Mercedes-Benz, but
Well, I know some that are inappropriate to say in front
I can count to 10 in German, that's it.
okay.
Well, the other thing that I just wanted to point out
Okay.
is we're watching the legislative session closely, and there are some things that the court just needs to be aware of. Particularly, there's a Senate Bill 878 that is challenging, that would be challenging for the tools that we have available to us through the Chapter 380 and the 381. And just say that, if you have an opportunity to visit with Senator Birdwell, it is his bill. And respectfully, Senator Birdwell is not a fan of incentives, and we understand that. But it's the reality of the world in which we live. And Our competitors are out there actively pushing the benefits and the incentives that they have available to them. And if we're going to remain competitive as a community and Texas is going to remain competitive as a state, we have to have a strong tool set available to us. And so I would just encourage you to, if you have an opportunity to visit with him, let him know that that tool is really important because it impacts the Economic Development Corporation, it impacts the TIF, it impacts the industrial business grants that the county offers to help attract business into the marketplace and to support existing industries as well. And so I'm just, that's something that's really important to us right now. So that's.
Well, my comment on that is Senator Birdwell is correct in that we're going to grow, whether we have incentives or not. But how do we want to grow? What do we want to grow with? If we don't go in and search out and find those companies and really recruit them into here, they have the high-paying jobs and those things, then we'll be left with selling property to a company that may not provide a lot of long-term benefit back to the community. So I think it's a tool that we've used very effectively. We do a calculation that's a approved calculation on a model to determine the return on investment and the amount of years it takes to get paid back. It's proven it's acceptable, and we have a high ROI with the incentives. We calculate it with incentives in there. And so you may either have land that is not developed because there's not a company there, or a company's there that does not give you the potential. They're using up space, and space is valuable. And so what's the long-term benefit to utilizing the space that we have in the industrial area? So I don't agree with him on that for sure. All right. Anything else? All right. Is there a motion to approve the Chris's report for recording purposes?
So move. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. Let's go back to the suggested pulls out of the consent agenda. And so under E3B, HR matter for health services. Anna?
And Judge, if I could, I'd like to give just a little bit of background on this. And Heather will also be available. I've been on our CPS board, our Child Welfare Board, for about 12 years now. And that entire time, Bill Helton has been the board treasurer. And Bill has really gone above and beyond, not only on the financial record keeping part, but also on the program elements and eligibility determinations. But there's a lot of back to school programs and clothing events, shoe events that Bill is an active part in. But Bill would like to roll off the board or at least give up those treasurer's duties at the end of this fiscal year. We've looked at what other counties do and how they handle this. It's a mix. Some do it exactly as we do, where there is a board treasurer that handles the majority of these responsibilities. Some counties have a dedicated staff member that does nothing but serve as a liaison between the board and the commissioner's court. And then in some counties, Travis County is an example, there is an employee in the health services department that part of that job workload is dealing with the Child Welfare Board. And so that's what's before you today. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Anna and Heather. I want to say that Anna and Heather and Francis have all been very helpful looking at this. Heather's attended the last few CPS board meetings to kind of learn more about the board and how it is structured. So with that, I'll turn it over to Anna and Heather.
Thank you, Dustin. Yes, I've worked with Heather in reviewing the program as a whole and how to incorporate it into her existing department structure and what changes should be made to fully support this new program, which is different from the existing programs that she has, but similar in some ways in that eligibility is involved. But we looked at specifically the office coordinator position that is currently vacant. It's been vacant since December. we were already looking at this position to possibly make some function changes, and this new program that Heather would be overseeing kind of pushed it over that goal that we were trying to do. And so in addition to office coordinator functions, ideally this position would also help manage this new program that Heather's office would be absorbing or adopting. And again, like Dustin said, it would be that program management function, establishing the program under the Health Services Department, managing the eligibility and distributions of funds, and then also participating in the CPS board as well, and maintaining the financial records for the program. And so incorporating those functions into the existing office coordinator position would involve a reclassification. So it would move up a pay grade. And then looking at market comparable salaries, there would be cause for an adjustment. The current budget is $54,160, and HR would recommend a budget of $59,309. And we're doing this mid-year, just as it's currently vacant, and Heather has an existing need, not just for the office coordinator functions that were being performed by the person who left in December, but also to help her establish this new program, ideally before the fiscal year starts. Are there any questions, or Heather, anything you would like to add?
I would, or let Heather go ahead. Okay, go ahead, Heather.
Oh, no, sir. I wasn't going to add anything. I was just going to be available for any questions that you might have.
And I certainly support this idea, and I think it's needed. This doesn't create any new positions, Heather. This takes a current position, reclassifies it, and different responsibilities. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct. I don't foresee that there's going to be a need for any additional position for the department to absorb this.
And then my next question, I guess it's more maybe directed to Judge. This statement says the board voted to transfer the functions to the health service. The relationship that allows another board to say, hey, we're not going to do this anymore, county, you take it over. How does that work without us having a say?
They can, so they're just saying I think they left out if we choose.
That's the part I didn't understand. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
And that's, this court has final say on all.
I was wondering how that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, any other questions or comments? Sound like somebody's running a wash machine.
Driving down the road or something.
Yeah. If there's no other questions, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve the E3B.
All right.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Good luck, Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dustin, do you want to go to the next one?
Yes, sir. So E3C is for Road and Bridge Precinct 2. Anna?
Yes, I have here a request for Road and Bridge Precinct 2 to rehire a retiree. His name is John Davidson. He left the county in January of 2024, so he's been gone for over a year. So this person meets the minimum requirements for departure that's outlined in our policy for the rehiring of a retiree. They also applied for the position per the requirements of the policy, and they do meet the requirements of the position. They are being hired into a heavy truck driver position. The precinct would like this hire to be effective April 21st, and then they have also completed the required document affidavits to be able to be rehired, and we recommend this for approval.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Thank
Under
you.
E6B, County Auditor, if we could defer both E6B1 and E6B2 until next meeting.
All right, I'll make a motion. We do that.
Second.
Have a motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Then we have two pools with no action, E6D1 and E6E.
All right,
So we can just pull those with no action.
okay, pull with no action on E6D1 and E6E.
All right, moving down to item F, bids, RFPs, RFQs. F1 is authorization of quote from timekeeping systems for integration to external system for Guard One real time. Calling John Carter.
Morning.
Morning.
So this is for Guard One integration into the Tyler project. This has been looked at by the steering committee and has been approved and recommended for the Commissioners Court to approve. It's an update of $4,785.63 as a change order to the Tyler project. This is included in the original budget as far as the amount being covered, because it's still approximately $25,000 less than what was approved for, to be expended from the Sheriff's Office Fund 257. And the Sheriff's Office does support this, of course.
Okay, so this is a change from the overall contract, it's a modification or amendment?
Right, it's a change order to that.
Yeah. And no financial,
There is a financial impact, it's 4,500,
but it's in the,
but it's within the
yeah.
budget, correct?
Yeah, okay.
And that's Fund 257, which is, what is that fund? Is that the commissary fund?
That's the commissary, jail commissary fund.
Okay. I guess my question is, if there's a maintenance on any of these that come out of like special funding in different areas, is that something that yearly maintenance will continue to come out of that fund?
Sorry, no, there is no yearly maintenance to this.
So this is a
This is a
one-time?
one-time. Project
Okay.
fee.
Is this going to, so is this just a test, or is this is actually what we are?
We're building an integration, so this is an integration from their Guard One system to the new Tyler system that we're going to, so it can import
okay.
data.
Okay.
It will continue to
From
import
Guard
data
One.
throughout the life cycle, but this is a one-time cost to make that integration happen.
Okay. So far, most of the Tyler integration's working and it's and all. What about I know we had the jury management piece of it and we've adopted that. How much of that's being utilized right now?
So we just implemented two fixes. One was the problem with the donations, but that's now fixed, and we just rolled in a fix for how, and this was just an upgrade really, to how it registers people as they check people in, the jurors. So they were having some issue where they were having to do it manually, but now they've done it so that it'll show them right away if they've been assigned to a panel or not.
Okay.
So they can now hopefully change that process. Right now, they're doing more of a manual process as they're checking folks in. They can move that to a more automated process.
And how will that improve the process?
Well, it's going to, first of all, get them to the courtrooms quicker because it's taking quite a long time right now, the way they're doing their manual process to check folks in. Because what they're doing is they're checking them in online, electronically, as they should, but then they're having them sit there and then they're going through a paper list to actually check them off and put them on panels.
Yeah, well, the whole purpose was to get this thing moving where people don't sit around and wait in line and
Yes.
what kind of thing.
And that's going to take a change to our processes with the district clerk's office. I think they've now got the tools to do that. And I know another future enhancement, I've talked to a few of the district judges about this. Some folks, like up in Tarrant County, for instance, they're sending jurors directly to courtrooms.
Yeah, and that's
And I know that's kind of a contentious issue that we'll have to talk about with the
contentious
district
with
judges.
who?
Well,
Judges or the,
I don't know exactly who would want which method.
oh,
We
okay.
haven't done a full survey yet, but I know some
you're-
judges would like them sent directly to courtrooms, and I don't know if others would not.
Nothing's changed then.
Not from that standpoint.
The idea was to speed things up, make it easier for jurors to get where they're supposed to go.
Correct.
And so you're saying we're not there yet?
I don't know. I don't think we're there yet. So the implementation of this system has, I believe, John could actually verify this, but has cut down the number of jurors we have to call.
Well, can't the
Because
judges,
those folks are doing it online.
can't the judges all get together and agree on jurors going straight or not going straight to the courtroom and everybody do it the same and let's move on? And
Yeah, we
improve
just
the
haven't had that meeting yet, but
Okay.
yes, we
Okay, well,
absolutely
I'll
could talk about that.
get that going.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we pay for something, we want to use it, and if it doesn't work, we need to kick it out, one or the other.
Paying for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we look at this as an iterative process. Step one was getting it online. Now we
Yeah.
can go to step two of making it more and more efficient for us.
Let's use
Yeah.
it. Let's
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah, efficiency,
And Judge, I'm sorry, Judge, if I could, I just wanted to say, we're in discussions with the city of Waco last week. There are going to start being some interruptions to the alley. There's going to be a sewer line replacement along 6th Street and in the near future, so there will be disruption. So I think that gives even more credence to that thought that you just knowing the alley can be impacted some. We'll be able to maintain that juror entrance, but whatever we can do technologically to help will help ease that as well.
okay.
But the juror entrance basically would go away if jurors just reported directly to a courtroom. Is that correct, Dustin?
Essentially, I think so, Commissioner, unless they would have to check in for something, but then be assigned directly to a panel. But that's the thought and the hope.
We might ask the district clerk to come and help us out with this, understanding. The other thing is people that need to, that don't qualify. In other words, they've got an exemption. We don't need them to go to the trouble of coming here.
Correct.
And so
That
hopefully.
sounds like it's fixed though, right? They
We
can go
still have them. Now, we haven't been present at the process since February, but even then, we were having folks come in to get their exemption.
But there is the possibility that you can go online and
Oh, absolutely, yes. It
Check your-
explains online what the
check your
exemptions are.
exemption. Mhm.
And you could apply for that exemption online. You can be granted that exemption without having
Yeah.
to come in, absolutely.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see.
Did we vote on that?
Did we approve this? Yeah.
We need a motion.
All right, I'll make a motion, we approve the request, IT.
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, passed. Thank you. All right,
Thank you,
Dustin.
John.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item G, contracts, interlocal agreements. G1 is authorization of engagement letter with Pattillo, Brown and Hill for audit of financial statements and compliance over major federal and state award programs for the period year ending September 30th, 2024. Francis has reviewed this. Pattillo, Brown and Hill has agreed that their gross fee, including expenses, will not exceed $39,000. Those years are correct. We had just received this letter, but the dates on the letter are correct. It's been reviewed and recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? There's no questions, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the engagement letter with Pattillo, Brown and Hill.
Second.
Motion made and second, any other discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
G2 is regarding the software as a service agreement amendment with Tyler Technologies, authorization of safe evidence module and property import conversion services quote for enterprise public safety. John?
So this is a second amendment to the Tyler contract. This is also building in it's for implementing the evidence module in the Tyler Data Archive. This would replace, I believe they call it SAFE software that they currently have, and would now be able to import that into Tyler. This one is $19,000. It is also a one-time fee, and this has been looked at by the Tyler Steering Committee and has been approved for recommendation for the Commissioners Court.
Okay, any questions?
This would come from Fund 253, which is their federal treasury forfeiture fund.
Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I like this statement right here. The contracted amount is approximately $360,000 less than the amount approved to be expended from Fund 253. I kind of like that.
All right.
Well
so-
within budget.
Is that a motion?
Yes, sir. Motion to approve.
All right, is there a second? Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Thank you.
Thanks.
G3 is ratification of rental service contract with One and Done Dumpster Rentals for Road and Bridge Precinct 2. There was a need to rent this. The term was April the 8th through April the 15th today, and so we just need a motion to approve the ratification of this contract.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and second, any discussion? No other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, pass.
Under item H, capital improvement and construction projects, H1 is regarding Fern Valley Road improvements, engineering service agreements with AJL Engineering, authorization of invoice through March, invoice number 1055. Amy?
Amy's here if you have any questions. Morning, Amy.
Morning.
Welcome to the court.
Well, thank you.
It looks pretty straight up, Amy. Any comments?
No, this is just the last invoice from them for
Last
the
one.
design work. We still have 5,000 available in case we have any issues during construction, and we need to call on the engineer, but I think we're in good shape there.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you. Motion to approve the invoice.
All right. Motion made second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pass.
Thank you.
Thank
Made it
you.
easy on you on this first time.
It's the honeymoon, right?
That's right, that's right.
H2 is regarding the McLennan County Highway 6 jail roof project, authorization of application for payment number 4 from the roof company Waco. And this payment application totals $177,045.80, and it has been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
All right, any questions? If none, what's the pleasure of the court?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Moving on to item I, budget amendments. Francis is online, just in a spot that is hard to hear, and so I'm going to step through these, but if there's any
Yeah.
questions, we can try to get them to her.
All right.
So I1 is regarding the FY25 budget. I1A is Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Services. This is a line item transfer totaling $200 to cover the increase in cost for a laptop. So it's moving from other services and charges to furniture and equipment. I1B is Constable Precinct 3. It's a line item transfer of $1,575 to move postage to the supplies line item. I1C is County Court at Law Number 2, Fund 151. This is a transfer from contingencies in that language access fund totaling $1,500 for language translation costs for the remainder of the fiscal year. I1D is 2022 Certificates of Obligation Permanent Improvement Fund. It's a transfer from contingencies in the Permanent Improvement Fund totaling $1,647,617 for costs related to the agreement with Brinkley Sargent Wigington Architects. And this was approved in court on April the 1st. I1E is Information Technology, transfer from General Fund contingencies totaling $9,079 for costs related to the Total Office Solution quotes for cubicles and relocations of cubicles from the Sheriff's Office, and those quotes were approved at last court session as well. I1F is Maintenance of Equipment, transfer from General Fund contingencies totaling $73,740. Costs related to an agreement that was approved by the court back in October of 24, and the change order in December related to the removal of the tower, anchors, and concrete shelter at the fairgrounds, the Heart of Texas Tower. I1G is Road and Bridge Precinct 2, transfer from general fund contingencies in the Road and Bridge Precinct 2 department totaling $5,000 for costs for the remainder of the fiscal year. And then that's all the budget amendments. And then I1H is a certification of local government code special budget for revenue received after the start of the fiscal year. Proceeds from disposition of general fixed assets for the county sheriff. It's certification of revenue totaling $39,039 received from the disposition of general fixed assets related to a total vehicle at the sheriff's office. It is crediting the capital outlay with the request for the sheriff's office to purchase a Chevrolet Equinox that would be assigned to a background investigator. And that's all the budget items.
All right, thank you. Any questions? All right, if not, is there a motion to approve I1 through I1H?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
Under item J, real estate, J1 is authorize the county judge to execute the purchase and sale agreements and any other items necessary to complete and close the transactions conveyance related to 2124 North 25th Street. That settlement statement is in your packet. We will actually close on the property tomorrow afternoon. The total amount due from the buyer is $436,776.83. And so we just need a motion to
That's the
approve
purchase.
this authorization.
That's the purchase price plus the closing costs that include commission and those kind of things.
That's right. And there was also a survey that was done, and then we had paid 5,000 down in escrow as well. So that's all accounted for.
Okay. All right, any questions? Not, closing days tomorrow.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Pass.
Under item K, grants grant proposals, K1 is our ARPA discussion. Under K1A is regarding the professional consulting contract addendums with LAN, authorization of invoice 28A. This invoice totals $7,292.65, and this is on the engineering monitoring side through March 28th, 2025. It's been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
All right, the only, one correction is it under professional personnel, it's got John Ray, and that should be, Tom Ray.
And Judge, I think that's how it's billed on the invoice, and I think I think Tom may be his middle name.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
I have one question very quickly.
Yeah.
I noticed remaining is that going to be sufficient to carry us through?
Likely not, Commissioner. We'll keep doing as we've done, kind of considering those separate work orders. So we'll be working with Tom and with Haley, and bring another work order forward for y'all's consideration.
And I'll say this, that, a lot of that additional cost is due to having to, work with the entities and encourage them to get us the information we need and,
Right.
and then research it, and then when it's not correct, to get it corrected, and so it's kind of the customer base, it's,
And that's all coming out of ARPA funding then?
yeah.
Okay. All right, motion to approve K1A.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
K2 is regarding the Texas Historic Courthouse Preservation Program discussion and/or action regarding submission of grant application. So TJ will be on as well. We'd received notice from the Texas Historic Commission that there'll be a round of grants opening up in the fall of 2025. They also consider emergency grants at any time. And so just a couple things that we were thinking about, we would of course have to bring a preservationist architect on board for any of these items, such as Architects who prepared our master plan before. But looking at, updating the fire escapes, potentially also doing some tuck pointing around the stone in various areas. So TJ, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I think that's about it. It's just a couple of few things that we'd like to get taken care of, and this grant process is kind of perfect for that. So, the fire escapes, they've needed some attention over the past few years. Of course, that's our only means and methods to actually get on the roof itself. So we definitely want to take sure they're taken care of. And then, of course, the tuck pointing is just something we need to take care of. As the building moves and settles, we've got some areas that need to be addressed. So we thought this would be perfect for that application.
Would the grant pay for the preservation, the Historic Preservation Architects Fund or fee?
Yes, sir. It should cover most of that. There'll be an allowable portion inside of it. So if this is something y'all want to consider, TJ and I can work with Ken and we can start at least going down that path.
I certainly support it, so my motion would be to support moving forward with the application for the courthouse preservation.
I'll second. Only comment is, we've been talking about those fire escapes for a long time. You couldn't even get on it, I was told, and now we're gonna spend money on it. So, I guess other than put a slide in, that's, about the only option we have. We could charge to go down the slide, pay for it.
That's right.
Yeah, we rebuilt the slide on the front of the courthouse.
Courthouse
a couple
security
of-
be first. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sounds like a
TJ.
liability.
So the fireplaces right now aren't accessible? Is that what you're, not the fireplaces, the fire escapes aren't accessible right now, TJ?
They are. We went through a couple of years ago and rebuilt the slide on the Washington side of the courthouse, so it's accessible. The one on the back side, closest to Fifth Street, is the one that started to deteriorate a little bit. So, we need to go through and replace some of the handrails, make sure the anchor points are still in good shape.
Right.
It's just, it's one of those things where it's a hairy situation when you have to climb from the top of that thing over the edge of the roof. And it's, a little bit wobbly at times. We want to definitely take care of it.
Agreed. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, right now it's a squirrel pathway. And we
Yes.
don't want to slip and fall by a squirrel suit following us. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Pass.
Thank you all.
Under item L, Department Office Specific Requests, L1 is Specialty Court, authorization of orders accepting donations. Those donations are listed in your packet, including some additional ones in memory of Judge David Hodges for use by the Specialty Court.
All right, and there's been others too to that. Did we already approve others or
Approved
is this all
others.
that was?
Yes, sir. We had a list last week too.
Yeah, okay, I thought it was. All right, I want to visit with you about that. Remind me when the meeting's over. All right, anything else?
Motion
What's
to
pleasure,
approve accept the donations.
All right.
Second.
Motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Pass.
Under item M, additional items, M1 is discussion and action regarding proposed pending state or federal legislation. So Judge or Commissioners, don't know if y'all have anything today.
Well, we already brought up, the one that's going to affect us quite a bit, but the other one is a legislation regarding, well, a couple of them, issuing COs. I heard yesterday that support on that one is diminishing. I hope it does not pass, but it would limit how we can finance future growth and those kind of things. It makes it cumbersome and challenging. And then the other one is taxpayer-funded lobbying. It sounds good to start out with, but, we don't have a lobbyist. We use our association, and it would prevent us from doing that, which would mean we would have to go to Austin a lot ourselves and do it. So those are two. There's a whole bunch of them. I don't know if there's a record number of bills filed, but most of them are not good. And so a lot of them will go away.
Very few bills filed help us.
Yeah, that's right.
I noticed I know Will stays up these probably much more than anyone else, but I read somewhere that the indigent legal defense, that it's still being funded, but a lesser amount than the previous budget. Is that still the case, or does anyone know? I mean, that's just going to trickle down to us, is what's.
Yeah.
Of course.
There's more unfunded mandates that's going to be generated from these bills that are filed than we've ever seen before. So it's the state saying, we're going to help you taxpayers.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you this or give you this exemption, but it floats down to here where we have to provide the service.
We have to do it.
And a lot of it's philosophy of it's based on some things they didn't like going on with some of the bigger counties like Harris County and Travis County and some of these others.
Exactly.
We're all being punished for.
Exactly. That's been my argument all along. One size doesn't fit all, but
Yeah.
because somebody's doing something wrong, you shouldn't punish everyone.
Yeah.
If they want the state to continue to grow, I don't see how they can continue this path of cut.
Yeah. Finally,
Your education system is suffering because of it.
yeah.
Your healthcare system is suffering because of it. It's just, it amazes me. I guess the tax incentives that the corporations get continue to, attract more than anything else.
Yeah.
So.
Well, their philosophy is cut for votes.
Oh, yeah.
And it leaves us with having to increase taxes which is the opposite effect, to cover the services. And, we're very frugal here.
Anytime you can cut your tax rate 9 years in a row, I'd say very frugal.
Yeah. Okay, the only other thing that affects us directly is the approval of the authority to create the Central Texas Water Alliance that allows Bell County and McLennan County to partner up, access water from a different aquifer in East Texas. That brings new additional water into our community. So we have to get the approval to do that, because in that allows you to do two things. One is to finance it without using ad valorem taxes, that means selling revenue bonds. So sell water to pay for the debt. And the other thing is you got to have eminent domain to get it here. So some of the engineering reports show that there's a lot of right-of-way access already there that can probably be utilized, but we'll see. But, we first have to get the approval to do it. And then if it is approved, then there'll be meetings about how we set up administrative staff and all to be able to hire the professional services side to see where we go with it.
Has it passed the House?
So it's scheduled for a vote.
Oh, okay,
It's already in the calendar. He got 100%
great.
support on it, and it's our future.
Oh, of course,
Yeah. So,
I agree.
and Dustin, that's all I have regarding that.
Okay, very good. Well, then we'll move on to item M2, if that's okay.
You bet.
M2, selection designation of public members of the Salary Grievance Committee regarding the FY26 budget. And Mercedes, I don't believe we need to do anything today. Is that correct?
That's correct, Dustin. We don't need to do anything with this item today.
Mercedes, what's the number we need? 9
We need at least 9, but we try to get 9 plus alternates.
plus alternates?
Yeah.
And we got 5 so far, which is remarkable.
Wow, that's like a records.
It is, absolutely.
All right, moving on to item M3 regarding the Local Provider Participation Fund, the LPPF, authorization of an IGT of funds derived from the County Healthcare Provider Participation Fund. This is under the Graduate Medical Education GME program. Heather?
Yes, we have an IGT request for the GME fiscal year 21 retro IGT with a due date today, April 15th, and a settlement date of tomorrow, Wednesday, April 16th. The requested amount is $157,153.86, but we are requesting to IGT up to the balance in the LPPF.
Okay, any questions? All right, I'll make a motion. We approve that.
Second?
Have motion second. Any discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you.
Moving down to item M5, approval of letter to Texas Department of Motor Vehicles authorizing Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson to submit registration refusals. This is under the Scofflaw Services Program. Back in November, we approved an agreement with Linebarger for them to handle the Scofflaw program, and then also an interlocal agreement between the county and TxDOT for placement of the scofflaw flags. The final step in all this is that a letter needs to be sent from the county to Texas Department of Motor Vehicles, allowing Linebarger to submit the files on the behalf of the county. So that letter is in your packet, and we just need a motion to approve the submission of that letter.
All right, I'll make a motion. We approve that letter.
Second?
Have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
M7 is authorizations regarding the 2025 North and East Texas County Judges and Commissioners Association Annual Conference Host Court Night. So in your packet are monetary donations totaling $11,250 to be used for the host court night. We just need a motion to accept those donations.
I make a motion. We accept money.
Second.
All right, I have a motion second. Any other discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
We have nothing under item N this week. Moving on to item O, McLennan County Downtown Jail Remodel Project. O1 is regarding the construction manager at risk agreement with John W. Irwin General Contractor. O1A is authorization of application for partial payment number 4. This partial payment number 4 totals $1,205,324 for construction services. It's been reviewed and is recommended for approval.
Okay, any questions?
Move to approve.
All right, have a motion second. Any other discussion? No other discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass.
All right, moving down to the supplemental agenda under item B. B1 is County Treasurer, recording of Treasurer's monthly report for March 2025. And B2 is McLennan County Children's Protective Services Board recording of detailed transaction report for March of 2025. And those are both in your packet, and just need a motion to accept those for recording purposes.
All right, I've reviewed these. It's kind of same strategy and policy we've been going for a while, so I would make a motion we approve this report for recording purposes.
Second.
Both reports, Judge?
Yeah, actually, both reports, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Second, Bo.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve items B1, B2. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, pass.
All right, and that should be all the action items. We just want to confirm that.
Uh,
That's everything.
Okay, and again, let's see, I think Francis has sent out the dates for budget workshops.
Right.
And please check that. Sometimes there's conflicts, but let us know, and it's early enough now, we can move things around if we need to. So please check your vacation calendar, your subpoenas, appear in court. Not anything else to come before the court. All right, we stand adjourned.